I remember distinctly the day that my attitude towards men changed. I remember the exact day when I decided that A, I was never going to help a man better himself, and B, I was never going to believe anything that came out that man's mouth. The day was 10 years ago to this day. It was February 15th, 2016. Let me tell you the story. 2009, I met a man at work, fell head over heels after 3 months of dating. I'm telling you all right now, the DSM should have a diagnosis for the level of delusional that I was towards a man. Right? Now, there's some stories I got to take to my grave, but this is one of the ones that I believe I can tell you, and I'm okay with being judged because I was a fool. I was a fool. But after 3 months of dating this man, he was, just expressing some difficulty with, maintaining his bills and driving we worked together, we worked at the same place. Getting to work and, it was some difficulty. He spent a lot of time at my apartment with me and my daughter. And after 3 months, I was like, you know what? Just move in. Just move in with me. He said the baby mama was killing him in child support and he couldn't afford his bills and it was just very difficult. Never in my mind did I say, well, pick up a shift. I ain't never said that. So I was just like, you know what? It's okay. I understand women can be difficult at times. Move in with me. Move into my 2-bedroom apartment with me and my daughter that I'm taking care of on my own, and you don't even have to pay right now. I want you to get on your feet because I want you to be successful. Said man moves into the 2-bedroom apartment with my daughter and I, and was completely okay with not paying anything. I didn't ask for nothing. But he was okay with not paying for anything. So about 7-9 months later, I was pregnant. I was pregnant about 9 months later. And at that point, the decision was made that we would get married. Yeah. No, we weren't going to buy a ring and present it. We were just going to get married. We were just going to do that. So I remember moving into a new place together as a family with the belly, my daughter, and his child came every now and again, holidays, every holiday that required a gift. They, off of school. So they come. And I remember cleaning out a car one day. I was cleaning out his car and I found some paperwork that talked about child support. And I was like, you told me you was paying this woman out your pocket, and that you went on papers and that she was just beating you over the head with the threat that if you didn't do it, you'd be put on the papers. So I was like, why do you got child support papers in the car? So I called the man. The man said that the girl was on medical assistance when she had the baby. And in that particular state, they sued a man for the money that the medical assistance paid. So they was garnishing his wages to pay back the baby's birth at the hospital because he was on, she was on medical assistance. I said, I ain't never heard that, but okay. So now we fast forward about 2 months later, some mail comes in to the house. And it looked like it was some important kind of mail from, child support services, things of that nature. So I opens up the mail. Came to my house. I, didn't have my name on it, but I opened it up. And it gave the name of the woman that was responsible for said child. And the name of the child that I knew he had. So I present this information. And after being scolded for opening up said mail and finding out this information, I was then told that, oh yeah, by the way, one day in college, this occurred and I have another child. And I've just been paying child support on this child and don't know where she at, who she at. I don't know anything about her. Could have been a lie. I don't know. So I said at this time, oh no, we don't do that. We don't do that over here. Go and get the baby, bring her here. We gonna see about her. We gonna love on her. We gonna take care of her. We gonna do what we need to do just like we would do for any of these other kids. You ain't gonna be no bum around me. Now, at that point, it should have been like leave, but I had a belly and I was like, I'm staying. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make this work. You know what I mean? So at that time, they introduced a young lady to the family. Wonderful time. They started treating my daughter, a little bit different now because they had a granddaughter of their own, daughter of their own. But I'll save that for another story, maybe. Anyway, I remember one of the young ladies taking him back for child support because they needed help, as they should. And one of the things that came up in court was that he needed to be paying for their health care. And they were going to start garnishing his wages even more for both children now because they needed health care benefits, which he should provide them. I'm not mad about that. But I got scared because I was already the main breadwinner for the household. I was paying a lot, and I literally couldn't take doing any more. And once again, I'm still pregnant. This is a long 9 months. You know what I mean? So I went to the HR at my job, and they said because we're married that I can put on my health insurance. It was just me and my daughter at the time. I can add him. We could be a family, and then I can add his children. So I run home to him and say, I fixed it. I fixed it for you. This is what we're going to do. So we added his children onto my healthcare benefits. They were covered. It was consistent. They didn't have to worry about anything that I knew about. And we went on to live a half decent piece of a life, right? Year 5 of marriage comes, and I just, I dealt with a lot. I ignored a lot of red flags. I ignored a lot of things that were going on. And for some reason, when I hit the age 30, I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this no more. I'm not doing this anymore. So I decided to set him free and let him go be with the ladies that he enjoyed being with. And in doing so, he kind of abandoned the family that we had and went on about his business. I still kept his children on my health insurance benefits, and I maintained our household for a while. And, $500 was his contribution to the household for all those years. No more than $500. So I can give you $500 towards the rent. I can give you $500. There was no, that $500 took care of daycare, rent, everything. I'm not complaining because I allowed it to happen. I'm just letting y'all know for the sake of the story. So when he left with his $500 and went and did whatever he was doing, I had to figure things out on my own because I no longer had a babysitter. I was working 16-hour shifts, and in them 16-hour shifts, I had a babysitter. I no longer had a babysitter. So some things had to change. But I remember getting my own place on my own, a little townhouse back in my hometown. And I remember needing to clear up some issues from the previous. I couldn't even get lights turned on unless the light bill from the old house was taken care of. That was in his name, but it had it attached to me as another person on there. So I was really, really, for the first time, waiting on my income tax. While I was married, I never received an income tax because somebody had arrears and somebody never paid their student loans. So whenever we did our taxes, they would garnish them. Now, I could have went to court and did injured spouse or whatever, but I wanted his debt to be cleared so that we could be okay. So I let them take my income tax for 5 years. On year 6, I was supposed to get my own income tax, and I went and filed. My accountant called me and was like, there's a problem. He already claimed the kids. Mind you, we had one kid together. My daughter was mine completely, 100%. He claimed her and our son together, although he doesn't do anything for them, and left me with nothing for that income tax season. I was very angry. I was very upset. I called him and I said that you will be on child support going forward. And he was like, well, don't put me on no papers because that's all you women want to do. And just tell me what you need. I said, I need you to pay me $300 a month. And he was like, well, what do you need $300 a month for? And I was like, to take care of your child. You got to understand that we have a child that may or may not have some special needs. There's issues that I need to take care of. There's daycare I need to pay for. And there's health insurance I need to pay for. I need to take care of their health insurance. And this man looked at me and said, oh, no. It's the same price for one kid as it is for 4 kids. So no, I'm not helping you with health insurance. That was the day. That's very insignificant. Y'all listened to a 9-minute story and thought you were going to get a really big climax. No, that was it. That was the moment I decided that never again will I do anything, and I mean anything, for a man. Y'all gonna be blessed.